Is relevant to me because I'm a survivor of it, and I blocked it out of my mind for a very long time, and I actually just now started to open up about it, and I'm in my 30s. Um, it has caused division within my family because the people who know about it usually protect the predator. Um, so child molestation is very important to me because it actually divides and it really destroys our family. I grew up in church. We had to go to church all the time. So, like in church, you know, they become like your family. So, my mother became friends with a group of sisters from the church. And we used to go and spend the night, spend summers and everything with that family. And we kind of like grew up with that family like they were. She was his wife was like my aunt, and so he would be like an uncle. He was always very playful, very friendly. It was definitely not welcomed at all. I was annoyed by him. A lot of times I hated being around him. I can just say there was two particular incidents that I still remember to this day, but because I did block it out of my mind because I felt very shameful and I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. I felt very dirty, and I didn't trust men and women really because I felt like the women, like I said, they knew, they had to know. So the wife was the hairstylist, so she used to do my hair as a child, and we were over to her house. My play aunt, who was the hairstylist who used to do my hair as a child, asked her husband, who is the predator, to wash my hair so that she wouldn't have to, because there was a lot of us who needed our hair done, so it wouldn't take her so long. And when he would wash my hair, he would be grinding on me from the back because I'm bent over with my head in the sink, and I am yelling, "No, stop, get off of me, leave me alone." I'm yelling. I'm in the kitchen, and the grown-ups are in the other room. There's not even a door separating from the other room. So I'm yelling and screaming and thinking that they were going to come in there and catch him in the act because I didn't know what to do. So I'm screaming and yelling and everything, and nobody ever comes in there. And when I come out, of course, I didn't say anything, just acted, normal, as normal as I could be. But in for a long time I was mad at myself because I never told anybody, but I had to come to the conclusion that I did tell when I was yelling and I was screaming for somebody to actually come in there and catch him in the act, and nobody did. So, and a lot of people, they fought people who, when they get up in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and whatever age, who finally come out to say that they have been sexually abused, they blame the victim for taking so long. But it's actually a real difficult thing to do. But it's just like, for an example, if I'm in the next room and my boyfriend or husband or whatever is beating me up and I'm screaming and I'm yelling, "Stop, help, come and get me," and then I come out the room, I don't feel like I need to say what just happened, especially as a child. So there was one incident that happened, and there was another incident that happened where I used to babysit um, their daughter. Their daughter is close to our family. Well, so I was laying on the bed on the front, on my front, just looking at TV like this, like a child, not thinking of nothing. And so after this, had happened, him touching me and everything, I would always try to avoid him as much as possible. And I never wanted to be around him without an adult. not that it even made a difference, because his wife had came in the room, so I felt safe. She was there. She went in, the bathroom was in the bedroom. So she went into the bathroom. He gets in the bed on side of me and then jumps on top of me. And I'm screaming, yelling, "No, get off of me, get off of me." And the wife never opens up the door to come in there to even catch it in the act, because that's what I wanted. I'm a child. I don't feel comfortable enough to go and say what is happening to me. I'm actually confused, don't even know what is really going on. I know it's not right, but you feel like I've been taught to respect adults, and so it's just kind of a thin line of you don't know how to tell. So that was 2 incidents that I still remember, because I prayed like for years that I would forget it. I don't even remember how old I was. It probably had to be, preteen or something like that age. With men, of course, it was hard for me to open up to a man, not really trusting, if what they're saying is true. Also had low self-esteem, didn't value myself, because you feel kind of dirty, and violated. So I didn't, I didn't have really a lot of good relationships with men. And with women, I think as far as like older women, because they were older women, and I felt like they didn't protect me. So I felt like I was never protected as a child. It was like I said, in my 30s when I moved back to Dallas, and I could no longer block it out of my mind, because I'm driving down the street where it happened, in the apartments where it happened, or I may hear his name, or just different stuff. So it's still a day-to-day thing. I don't know if it's something I'll ever get over, or something I'll ever not have to deal with, but it's a lot easier now, because at first I would never talk about it, and then when I would talk about it, I would be crying and so shaking and sweating so much till you couldn't even hear what I'm saying. So I am healing. I am repairing myself. So the main thing right now that I like to do is just educate people to protect their children. Because once it's done, I don't really know. It's like it's a working process. You're always you just can't get your innocence back. To me, I would have to blame the women who were around, because there should never be a man like playing with little girls, or you just have to watch the way people play with your children and joke with them, and watch the way the children react to certain adults. Know what is sexual abuse, and a lot of people have been sexually abused who will always answer no, because they don't even know what it is. So if there's an adult, an older teenager, anybody who can take advantage of somebody who's young. Okay, so these people, if they're showing a younger person pornography, naked pictures, magazines, things like that, that's sexual abuse. If they're exposing their private parts, that's sexual abuse. Even talking about sex around children is sexually abused. Teaching them, educating them is different, because you will have to educate them. And that's one thing as far as prevention. You do have to educate them on where their private parts are, depending on what age they are. You can go deeper. Talking like the child is not in the room. I think the way that I acted out is I was very rebellious, angry. That's a common symptom of people, even grown-ups, who are angry because they've been sexually abused. And I do want to explain, okay, child molestation is what we consider, touching inappropriately, and rape would be, the violent penetration, the actual, I guess, the intercourse part. I won't say that both of them are devastating. And most people who go through this, I just call it sexual abuse. Just whether it's penetration or not, it's sexual abuse, and it's violating your sexuality, your space, and opening up something that you didn't even know. It makes children sexual early when you've been sexually abused. And so those are some of the signs, and the effect could be, interested in sex too early. Yes, puberty is a natural age when you're going to be interested, but if your child is touching, trying to do some very inappropriate adult-like things, you need to ask some questions, talk to the child. And as far as prevention, you need to have an open relationship with your child anyway, because it's something I didn't have. We didn't talk about, things like that. So we have to talk about what's healthy touch, what's good touch. How did you feel when this person was around? Talk to your child. You have to basically let your child know you trust their word, so that if something ever happens, they will come and tell you. Well, after I started to open up and just tell people about what had happened to me, because at some point you're going to have to start talking about it, I noticed that it happened to a lot of people, and the men that would open up about it, they were homosexual. I've never had a heterosexual man tell me that they were molested, but of course it still happens to heterosexual men too. But one of the things that I noticed about the homosexual men is that a lot of them were molested by women, like a babysitter or, some type of older woman who violated them, and then they didn't trust women. And it would be basically the same thing with some women who were into lesbianism. They had been molested or raped by a man. So that's what I have been noticing with just talking to different people and opening up, telling my story.